Okay, YouTube, so here's the last part of my tutorial on how to play Cardfight Vanguard. I'd explain the card effects. I already explained the cards. I already explained how to build a deck. So here's gameplay. Okay, so first of all, when playing Cardfight Vanguard, you must have a hand of 5 cards as any other trading card game. But before you actually draw your 5 cards, you must have, well, before I even say that, imagine you are on a planet similar to Earth called Cray. Your soul is on that planet, which you have 2 powers by default. One is to call upon the monsters that inhabit the planet. The cards in your deck are your units. Call to them. Now, when starting a game of Cardfight Vanguard, you must first start by going in your deck and placing any grade 0 unit on the starting Vanguard circle. I don't actually have a playmat, but I'll just try to demonstrate. Right here. Okay. Actually, what's this? Okay. Okay. Now, shuffle your deck, which I will do real quick. So you're going to see darkness for a few seconds. I'm using my phone to record this. Okay. Done. Okay. Now, draw your 5 cards. These are your units. The cards in your hands can both attack and defend for you, as long as its grade is equal to or higher to your starting Vanguard. Oh, wait. Did I say equal to or higher? I mean equal to or lower than your starting Vanguard. Now, when you're ready, do this. When you're ready to start playing, say this: stand up my Vanguard and flip up your starting grade 0 unit on the Vanguard circle. Since the starting Vanguard is a grade 0, you can only Since it was only grade 0, for example, you can only call a grade 0 to the sides. But when playing Cardfight Vanguard, it doesn't work like that. Now let me quickly explain the steps. 1. The stand phase, which you stand your Vanguard and your rear guards back up in the way it is right now. Stand phase I'll explain in general later in this video. Next is the draw phase, which you draw 1 card. Okay. Now, here comes the ride phase, which is the second power you can use. Ride is to place 1 card, moving up to the next grade each turn all the way up to grade 3. Or in other words, to possess the monster you start with, which is your Vanguard. Vanguard means the one that leads the way. So, yeah. Now, I don't really have any grade 1s in my hand, but unfortunately, there is a thing in Vanguard that you can actually put back a number of cards back into your deck and draw the same amount of new cards. Shuffle those 3 cards you put back in your hand that you want to reshuffle. And then you draw those new cards with the same amount. Since I redrew 3, I'm redrawing 3. Okay. I still don't have a grade 1, but it doesn't matter. Now, here comes the next one, which is the call phase, which is to call a rear guard in the front area, a grade 0, like this card right here, I call, and a grade 0 right here. Simple as that. I think I'll call another one. On an official Vanguard playmat, these cards right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, are called rearguard circles. Rearguards are what I use to boost the attack of your Vanguard in the front row rearguards. They're used to support by adding their own power to the card in front to their power. So since this rearguard's power is 5,000 and this one's 5,000, boosted is 10,000 total. Now look at the starting Vanguard. Its power is 5,000, and the back rearguard is 5,000. So that's 10,000. And this 5,000, this 5,000, 10,000. Okay. Now, next is the battle phase. When battling, you can guard is when the time you guard against your opponent's attacks, and when you attack your opponent. Now, when attacking, when you decide you're attacking, you flip your card into this position. Also, the back rear guard that is supporting it, which is boosting its attack, is also turned that way, which is called the rest position. In other words. Okay. Which means, yes, now their power is 10,000. The way you win the game is by dealing 6 damage to your opponent. And how do you deal 6 damage? Is by attacking your opposing opponent's Vanguard. So say my opponent had now if you're going to defend and you're the one being attacked, say your opponent had a 31,000 power Vanguard, you can actually stop their attack by guarding against them with cards that have shields. Cards with these on the sides. They are called the shields. Now, how do you use a shield exactly? You use a shield by right here, this spot right here. I wish I had a physical playmat to actually better explain this. But this part right here is the guard circle. Now, when using the shield to guard the shield power, the shield number is actually added to your Vanguard's power. So basically, since Vanguard boosted by the rear guard is 10,000, and this is a 10,000 shield, it's pretty much 20,000, so that's not enough. But if you had more cards in your hand, or if you had cards to intercept, intercept like this, like take one of your front to rear guards on left or right in the front, and just, like that. That's intercepting. Then you can actually add more. Just as long as you have a high enough shield, you can actually. But there is a little defect. When attacking, if you're, a way how your attacks go through is, as long as the shield is greater than your opponent's attack, it will cancel out the attack. The attack doesn't go through. But when you're attacking, your opponent doesn't even guard. If your attack is equal to your opponent's attack, it goes through. Yes, if your attack power of your Vanguard or rear guard go through and are attacking, and their attack power is equal, it will go through. Yes. So, when an opponent takes damage, they take one card off the top of their deck and put it into the damage zone. Like this. And like I said, when you receive 6 damage, you lose the game. And the person who doesn't have 6 damage wins the game. But there is a way you can actually win the game. There's a chance you can actually recover from getting damage. There are cards in the game called triggers. Triggers are what are used to help increase the power of your Vanguard. Well, not only does it increase the power of your Vanguard, but actually give it another effect. Now, there are 4 types of triggers: critical trigger, heal trigger, stand trigger, and draw trigger. Critical triggers, which are what these counts on the cards are for, in the center between the attack power, the race, and species, is the critical count, which is 1. When you draw a critical trigger, it increases that number. So say if you were to draw 1 critical trigger, it'd be 2. Draw 2 critical triggers, it'd be 3. Increasing the amount of damage you can actually do to your opponent. So pretty much 3 critical triggers total. Drawing 2 critical triggers gives you 3 critical triggers, which means you could do 3 damage to your opponent. And okay. Now, heal triggers. When you draw a heal trigger, you can recover 1 damage as long as it's greater than your opponent's life. Greater than your opponent's damage. Pretty much. And when your opponent is defeated, the spirit has vanished from the planet, which means you win in general. Well, that's the whole thing. How to play Cardfight Vanguard. So, if you guys want to start playing, I'll put a link in the description for where you can actually buy your own actual Vanguard deck of any clan. It's very cheap, depending on what one you got. Mine, it cost me only about $5.95. Very cheap. I get it off eBay. I'll put a link in the description. So, bye guys. Hope you liked this video and it was helpful to you.